The station on the edge of the galaxy was small, but it was home for the Turner family. Caleb Turner, only 8 years old, ran along the narrow corridors of the mining outpost, laughing as he chased a small mechanical drone that his father, Daniel, had built for him. His sister, Mia, tried to join him, but she was slower and laughed at her own clumsiness. Their mother, Lily, watched from the kitchen window as Caleb raced past the observation deck, the sunlight from the distant star catching in his brown hair. Life here was not easy. Supplies were limited, and the Galactic Empire had taken control of the systems years ago. The local humans worked hard to stay under the radar, obeying the Empire's strict rules while trying to keep their freedom in small ways. The Turners were known among their neighbors as kind, helpful, and careful. They had no idea how fragile their life was until the day the Empire arrived. That morning, a loud alarm shook the station. The walls vibrated with the sound of dropping boots and clanging metal. The children froze. "Stay inside," Lily said quickly, grabbing Mia and pulling her into the small storage room. Daniel stepped in front of the door, blocking it as the Imperial guards reached their house. Caleb ran toward his father, shouting, "Dad!" "Wait, it's just us." He had seen the guards coming down the corridor, but he didn't understand why they looked angry, why their eyes were cold behind the helmets. One of the guards raised a scanner. "Search the area for weapons. Anyone resisting will be removed." Daniel stepped back slowly. "We have no weapons. We are just workers. Please, there is no reason for trouble." The guard ignored him and pressed a button on a small device. A bright light shot toward Caleb, and before anyone could stop it, the boy screamed. The sound echoed through the empty hallways. The light touched him, and then he fell. Lily screamed as she ran toward the door, but the guards held her back. She could only watch as her child lay still on the floor. Daniel dropped to his knees beside Caleb, shaking him. "No, no. Please, he's just a boy." But the Empire had already decided that no human life mattered here. Caleb Turner, the bright, laughing child, was gone. The guards left without another word, leaving the Turners in silence and sorrow. The station was cold and empty, the laughter of children replaced by a quiet that felt like it would never end. Lily's grief turned quickly to anger. She gathered herself and wrote a detailed report about what had happened. She sent it to every channel she could reach, hoping someone somewhere would hear. The message was simple: a child had been killed and the Empire must answer. On Earth, the message arrived quietly at first. Analysts sat in their offices, scrolling through reports, seeing countless incidents, but this one was different. Ava Collins, a human rights officer, read the words carefully. "Caleb Turner, 8 years old, killed by Imperial forces without reason. This is not a mistake." Her colleague Ethan Brooks leaned over. "Another report. There are always reports. You know the Empire ignores them." Ava shook her head. "This is not just another report. It's different. This is the one the public will notice if we act." Soon the story spread. The death of a child in an Imperial sweep was broadcast across Earth's media networks. Images of Caleb, his bright eyes and messy hair, made people stop. Millions of humans watched and felt the pain. Parents held their children tighter. Workers in factories paused for a moment. Students in schools stayed quiet in respect. People began asking questions. How could the Empire be allowed to kill a child? How long would Earth remain silent? Governments could not ignore it. Even the most cautious politicians understood that the incident would not fade from public memory. The Earth Council, which had kept watch over human colonies for decades, called an emergency session. Leaders and commanders gathered in a massive chamber. Among them were Noah Carter, a strategic advisor known for calm reasoning, and Hannah Wright, a fleet commander who had overseen hundreds of missions near the border. Noah spoke first. "We cannot allow this, not just for Caleb Turner, but for every human under Imperial control. They think they can kill and we will watch quietly. That ends now." Hannah nodded. We need a response, but it has to be measured. We cannot let anger lead to chaos. This is about principle, not revenge. The council reviewed hundreds of old records, files showing the Empire's repeated violations of interstellar laws. Enslavement, illegal killings, forced labor, these were not isolated incidents. The Empire assumed humans would accept the rules and move on, but the Turners' tragedy had exposed their cruelty in a new light. Meanwhile, on the edge of the Empire, survivors whispered the name Caleb Turner. It became a symbol, a reminder that humans were not just numbers in a report. Every human had value. Every child mattered. The council worked quietly and efficiently. It was decided that Earth would not respond with words alone. Their fleets, hidden for decades in distant systems, were already ready to defend humanity. But now, the plan changed. No longer were the ships only for protection. They would show the galaxy that humans would not be passive. Fleet Commander Lucas Grant began preparations. "We have been patient," he said. "We have trained, we have waited. Now the Empire will see that we do not forget. We do not forgive lightly, not when a child is killed." Claire Bennett, his deputy, checked the communications arrays. "The people will know. Every broadcast will carry the same message. Human life matters. The galaxy must understand this before we act." Back on the frontier station, Lily Turner and Daniel were struggling to keep themselves together. Their grief was raw, but they clung to hope. "Maybe Earth will hear us," Daniel whispered one night. "Maybe Caleb's death will not be in vain." Lily held a small piece of Caleb's favorite toy, a mechanical bird he had built from scraps. "It has to mean something," she said. "Someone has to make them pay attention. Someone has to stop this from happening again." The galaxy seemed indifferent to their suffering, but somewhere far away in Earth's command centers, human leaders were listening. They saw the incident not just as a crime, but as a test of humanity's resolve. They had always prepared, but now they understood the stakes. Noah Carter spoke to the council one more time. "We have waited for diplomacy to work. We have waited for the Empire to show mercy. They will not, but we will. We will act, and we will act with power enough that no one can ignore us." Hannah Wright stood beside him. "We are not just fighting for Caleb Turner. We are fighting for every human who cannot defend themselves. For every child, every family, every life the Empire thinks it can take without consequence." As Earth began its preparations, the Turners received messages of support from thousands of people across human colonies. Simple words, gestures of solidarity. "We see you. We hear you. We will not forget Caleb." The frontier station was quiet again, but the Turners felt a strange sense of hope. Somewhere, humans across the galaxy were rising, preparing to show the Empire that every life mattered. And for Caleb, a small boy with brown hair and a bright smile, the story was just beginning. Though his life had been stolen, the ripple it caused would not be stopped. The galaxy would feel it. Humans would act. And no one, not even the Empire, would be able to ignore them. The stars above the station shone brighter that night, as if echoing the promise of action, of justice, of human courage. The Turner family held each other close, knowing that their pain had sparked something larger, something unstoppable. And far away in Earth's hidden shipyards, engines hummed, lights blinked, and fleets began to awaken. Humanity was listening. Humanity was watching. And humanity would respond. Earth was quiet on the surface, but beneath its cities and oceans, great machines were stirring. Hidden shipyards on distant moons and in deep space were alive with motion. Thousands of workers and machines moved in perfect coordination, building ships that had been planned in secret for decades. These were not ordinary ships. They were human dreadnoughts, built to survive any attack, fast enough to move across the galaxy and strong enough to face any enemy. In the council chamber, Noah Carter stood before the assembled leaders. "The Empire will not act like humans expect," he said. His voice was calm, but there was fire in his eyes. They assume we will stay silent. They assume they can hurt us and no one will answer. Caleb Turner's death proves they are wrong. Earth will respond, and we will make them understand that human life is not cheap. Not now. Not ever, Hannah Wright, standing beside him, nodded. We cannot rely on anger. This is not revenge. It is a demonstration. The Empire must know that no child is ever alone when humanity stands together. The Council listened quietly. Many of them had seen war in the outer systems. Many had watched as the Empire enslaved populations and destroyed colonies. But this was different. This was personal. This was about humanity itself, and no one could ignore that. Earth's decision was made. The plan was simple. Reveal power, show resolve, but avoid unnecessary deaths if possible. Every ship, every pilot, every engineer, every soldier would understand the mission. They were not attacking out of hate. They were acting to protect humans everywhere and to demand respect from the galaxy's most dangerous power. In the shipyards, Lucas Grant walked along the rows of massive ships. Each dreadnought was a city of metal and light. Its engines were enormous, capable of traveling between star systems in days instead of months. Its weapons were precise, designed to disable rather than destroy at first, but more than enough to obliterate if necessary. Claire Bennett joined him. 500,000 ships, she said quietly. It's hard to imagine that kind of force. Lucas smiled faintly. The Empire has grown arrogant. They think size and fear are enough. But numbers alone do not decide battles. Determination does, discipline does. Humanity will not hesitate. For years, Earth had quietly trained pilots in secret. Children born on distant colonies were raised with knowledge of space, science, and strategy. Many had never seen a battle, but they understood the responsibility. Now all that preparation would be tested. Meanwhile, public outrage on Earth continued to grow. Citizens held vigils for Caleb Turner. Simple signs read, "Every child matters," "Stop the Empire," and "Justice for Caleb." In every city, humans felt a connection to a child they had never met. The government broadcast messages reminding people that their fleet was ready, but they would act responsibly. Still, seeing 500,000 dreadnoughts preparing in secret sent chills through every observer who caught the news. Noah Carter spoke again to the Council. We are not sending the fleet blindly. We have intelligence on the Empire's systems. We know their strengths. We know their weaknesses. We will move carefully but with one clear message. Humans protect their own, no matter the cost. The Council debated the plan for hours. Questions were asked about diplomacy, risk, and consequences. But every time someone spoke of delay, Hannah Wright reminded them, "A child has died. We cannot wait. Every moment we hesitate, we give the Empire the chance to kill another child, another human. We act now." In hidden training facilities, pilots prepared. Young men and women, many not older than Caleb, ran simulations and drills. They learned to work together to move as one. Their instructors told them, "Remember why you fight. Remember who you protect. Never let fear or hate cloud your decisions. Focus on justice. Focus on life." Meanwhile, Earth's engineers worked tirelessly. Every dreadnought was equipped with the latest technology. Shields that could resist laser fire, engines that could escape any trap, and advanced weapons capable of precision strikes across star systems. It was not enough to build a large fleet. They had to build one that could survive the Empire's retaliation. Lucas Grant inspected the fleet as it prepared for departure. He walked along a row of ships, each one the size of a small city. He could hear the engines humming. He could feel the power beneath his feet. "This is more than a fleet," he said. "This is a promise to every human across the galaxy that we will not abandon them, that no life is worthless." Claire Bennett nodded. "The Empire thinks of humans as weak. We will show them how wrong they are." Across Earth, the news reached ordinary people. Families in cities, farmers on distant planets, and workers in factories all watched broadcasts of the fleet in preparation. Many felt fear, but more felt hope. Finally, humanity was standing up for itself. Finally, there was a response to the cruelty they had endured. Back on the frontier station, Lily Turner received a private message from the Earth Council. "We have heard you," the message read. "Your son's life has not been forgotten. Humanity will respond." Lily held the message close. Tears ran down her face, but this time they were not just of grief. There was pride. Her son's death would not be meaningless. Caleb Turner had sparked something larger than anyone could imagine. As the fleet began to mobilize, pilots took their places. Each dreadnought required hundreds of crew members, all working together like a single organism. Lucas Grant addressed them before departure. "Today, we leave in the name of every human who has suffered under the Empire. We fight not for revenge, but for justice. Remember the child who started this. Remember every human we protect. We are one, and we will not fail." Claire Bennett added, "We leave quietly, but our presence will speak louder than words. The Empire has never seen humans act like this. They will learn, and the galaxy will see what we are capable of." The fleet moved through hidden corridors of space, avoiding detection for as long as possible. They traveled in perfect formation, each ship moving as if it were part of a single massive being. The engines hummed a low, steady sound, like the heartbeat of humanity itself. Back on Earth, the Council monitored every movement. They calculated every possible response from the Empire, every possible outcome. They knew they held the advantage, but they also knew the Empire would not surrender easily. Hannah Wright watched the screens. "We are showing strength," she said, "but we are also showing restraint. That is what makes humans dangerous. We act with purpose, and the Empire cannot predict us." As the fleet approached the outer systems, the first signs of panic began to appear in Imperial communications. Governors and commanders scrambled. They sent messages to the capital, but the transmissions were intercepted by human intelligence teams. The Empire did not know how to respond to this scale of action. They had never faced a human fleet this large, this organized, this determined. Lucas Grant stood on the bridge of the command dreadnought, looking out at the stars. "They will try to intimidate us," he said. "They will try to negotiate, to buy time, to divide us. Ignore it. Our mission is clear. We are here for every child, every human, every life they think they can take without consequence." Claire Bennett joined him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We are ready. We are prepared. The galaxy will learn what it means to cross humanity." Meanwhile, the Empire began to deploy its own forces. Ships moved into defensive positions, but they were scattered, uncoordinated, and too few to stop the approaching human dreadnoughts. Across the galaxy, subject populations watched, some secretly cheering, others terrified. For the first time, humans were showing the galaxy that they would not be ignored. In the hidden corridors of Earth's command, messages arrived from civilian leaders and ordinary citizens. They were simple, heartfelt words. "We support you. For Caleb, do not stop." They reminded every officer and pilot why they acted. The fleet continued its advance. Each jump through hyperspace brought them closer to the Empire, closer to showing the galaxy what humans could do when pushed too far. The dreadnoughts moved as one, silent and powerful, like a shadow rising across the stars. As they approached the first Imperial system, Lucas Grant addressed the entire fleet one final time. "Remember, we act not with hate but with resolve. We act not for vengeance but for justice. We are the protectors of humanity. Let the Empire see us, and let them remember that no child's life is ever worthless." Every ship acknowledged. Every crew member understood. Every human across the fleet carried the same thought in their hearts. Caleb Turner's death had ignited a spark, and that spark had grown into a fire that could not be stopped. The dreadnoughts moved closer to the Empire, and the galaxy began to feel the first tremors of change. Humanity had decided to act, and the Empire would soon learn that there were limits even they could not cross. And so the stage was set. Earth had chosen its path. The fleet, 500,000 strong, would make the Empire see the value of human life, not with words, not with threats, but with power, precision, and the unwavering will of an entire species determined to protect its own. The human fleet moved like a silent storm across the stars. 500,000 dreadnoughts, massive and powerful, stretched farther than any eye could see. From the bridge of the lead ship, Lucas Grant watched the stars pass by, feeling a weight he had never felt before. This was no simple mission. This was history in motion. Claire Bennett stood beside him, monitoring the fleet. "They know we are coming," she said. "The Empire is beginning to react. Communications are frantic and their fleets are moving into position." Lucas nodded. "Let them panic. Let them think they understand what they face. They do not. Humans are not predictable, and they have never seen us act like this." For weeks, the fleet had traveled in secret, moving through hidden corridors of space and using jump gates that were known only to Earth. Now, they approached the outer systems of the Empire. Sensors detected patrol ships, small groups of fighters trying to scan the area, but they were too late. By the time they saw the dreadnoughts, the fleet had already moved beyond their reach. In the Imperial capital, alarms rang. Governor Velric pounded his desk. "What is this? 500,000 ships. This cannot be human. They cannot have built this many. They are bluffing." His aide, a young officer named Rian, looked worried. "It is no bluff, sir. The signals are clear. The fleet is real and it is moving in perfect formation." Velric slammed his fist on the table. "Send out the fleets. Stop them. Destroy them before they reach the capital." But it was too late. The human dreadnoughts moved faster than the Empire expected. They spread across the systems like a net, surrounding planets, jump gates, and supply stations. Each ship was ready for combat, but the humans did not attack immediately. Their message was clear. Presence alone was enough. Back on the lead ship, Lucas addressed the fleet over the universal comms. "Fleet, we are not here to destroy without cause. We are here to remind the Empire of human value. Every move we make is measured. Every action is deliberate. Prepare for engagement if necessary, but remember why we are here. Remember Caleb Turner." In hidden rooms across the Empire, civilians watched the movement of the fleet. Some whispered prayers. Others sent secret messages to human colonies, quietly cheering for the ships that represented the courage of their species. For the first time, humans were not afraid. The Empire had finally faced a challenge it could not ignore. Imperial warships began to gather, but they were disorganized. Their numbers were far smaller than the human fleet, and they did not have the same coordination. Their weapons were powerful, but the dreadnoughts were prepared for every attack. Sensors tracked every move, predicting every maneuver, keeping the human fleet safe. Lucas watched the reports from his officers. "They are trying to test us," he said. "Small attacks, probing, nothing serious. They hope we will panic. We will not. Stay focused. Move as one." "The galaxy is watching." Claire checked her monitors. "The Empire does not understand us. They have fought countless wars with other species, and they always won. They think humans are weak. They are about to learn a lesson they will never forget." In the distance, a small Imperial frigate moved toward the human fleet. Its sensors were active, scanning, trying to detect weaknesses. As it approached, it suddenly vanished. A single human dreadnought had moved in perfect formation to block it. Its engines flared, creating a wall of light. The frigate stopped, then retreated. Lucas smiled. "That is how this will go. Every move they make will be met with readiness. Every attack they try will fail, and they will see that humanity does not act in anger. We act with resolve." On a nearby planet, families watched the sky. Lights flashed as communications from the fleet were broadcast for those who had access. Words repeated again and again. "We are here for our children. We are here for humanity. We will not ignore the killing of a single human life." Meanwhile, the Empire grew frantic. Commander Velric sent orders that no one could follow fast enough. Fleets were deployed, supply lines were threatened, and panic spread through the capital. In the council halls of the Empire, advisors shouted over one another. "We cannot let them reach the capital, deploy the superweapons, target the fleet." But the humans were already too close. Their dreadnoughts were careful, precise, and organized. Every ship had a role. Every crew member knew their duty. They moved in patterns the Empire could not predict, surrounding systems without firing a shot, blocking exits and cutting off supply lines. Lucas Grant addressed the fleet again. "Remember, we are human. We do not kill without purpose. Our presence is our weapon. The Empire has believed for centuries that they can harm humans and remain untouched. Let them understand here and now that every life matters." The first real confrontation came near a mining colony under Imperial control. A small fleet of Empire ships attempted to engage the human dreadnoughts. They fired their weapons, hoping to scare the humans, hoping to slow them down. But the human fleet responded with precision. Shields blocked the blasts. Defensive measures protected the colonies. In the end, no human ship was damaged and the Imperial fleet was forced to retreat. Lucas watched the reports. "Do not fire unless necessary. Show them discipline. Show them we are not just a mob. We are an organized, united species. Let this lesson sink in before we speak with them directly." On Earth, the Council monitored the battle. Every action was observed, every move calculated. Noah Carter spoke to the leaders. "This is only the beginning. The Empire will try to negotiate, to divide us, to frighten us. But we are united. We move as one. And the galaxy is seeing that humanity is not weak." Meanwhile, across Imperial-controlled systems, whispers spread. Civilians, former slaves, and oppressed species began to hope. They saw the humans move with purpose. They saw the dreadnoughts, unstoppable and precise. And they realized that the Empire was not invincible. Back on the lead ship, Lucas and Claire watched the stars pass. "They are trying to understand us," Lucas said. "They have never faced a human fleet this large. They have never faced a species that moves for principle, not profit. And they do not know how to respond." Claire nodded. "We are not here to destroy, but to show power. Every action, every movement teaches them the cost of killing a human life." The fleet continued its advance, moving from system to system. Every jump through hyperspace was a message. Every arrival was a warning. The Empire scrambled to respond, but it was too little, too late. Humans had grown too strong, too determined, and too organized. In one small colony, survivors of past Imperial attacks watched the fleet move past. They whispered prayers and messages of gratitude. "Finally," one of them said, "finally, someone is protecting us." And for the Turners, far on their small frontier station, the hope that began with Caleb Turner's death now became action. The humans acting in his name were not just symbols. They were real, powerful, and unstoppable. As the human fleet approached the Empire's core systems, tension reached its peak. Imperial leaders knew they could not ignore it any longer. Velric sent messages demanding parley. Lucas Grant received them and studied them carefully. "We will respond," Lucas said, "but on our terms. We will not be intimidated. We will not negotiate from fear. We act for every human life and we will not stop." Claire checked her systems. "They still do not understand. They think negotiation will scare us. They do not know humans. They do not know that we protect our own. They are about to learn." Meanwhile, the Empire scrambled more fleets, trying to surround the humans, but the dreadnoughts moved like water, slipping through, blocking exits, controlling space, and cutting off the Empire's options. Lucas addressed the fleet one last time before the final approach to the capital. "This is not about destruction. This is about respect. This is about humanity. Every child, every family, every life matters. The Empire will see what humans do when they are pushed too far. And they will remember it. The Dreadnoughts moved together, 500,000 strong, surrounding the Imperial systems. The stars above them seemed brighter, and every human aboard felt the weight of their responsibility. They were not here to conquer, but to show the galaxy that killing one human, one child, was enough to awaken the wrath of an entire species. Across the Empire, alarms rang. Panic spread. Civilians fled, governors argued, and commanders shouted orders that could not be followed. The humans had changed the balance. The galaxy had never seen anything like this before, and in the midst of it all, Lucas Grant, Claire Bennett, and the human fleet waited, silent, powerful, determined. The Empire was about to learn a truth it could never unlearn. Humans do not forget their children, and when humanity decides to act, it moves with the force of a star. The first battle was over without massive bloodshed, but it was only the beginning. The Dreadnoughts held the Empire in place, cutting off escape and showing the power of human unity. The next steps would decide the future of the galaxy, but one thing was certain: humanity would not back down. The stars above burned with light, and the galaxy trembled as the human fleet, 500,000 strong, prepared for the next move. The human fleet waited at the edge of the Imperial capital system, stretching across the stars like a line of living steel. 500,000 dreadnoughts, engines humming, weapons ready but untouched, filled the space between worlds. Lucas Grant stood on the bridge of the lead ship, looking at the lights of the Imperial capital in the distance. For years, the Empire had ruled without fear of consequences. Now it faced something it could not ignore. Claire Bennett joined him. "They are sending messages," she said. "The governors want negotiations. They are scared." Lucas nodded. "Good, let them feel fear. Not because we threaten them with death, but because we show strength and resolve. This is the difference. Humans fight for life, not for conquest." Across the Empire, panic spread. Governor Velric and his council argued furiously. "We cannot fight them. Our fleets are scattered. Our weapons are not enough. They control every exit. What do we do?" An advisor spoke quickly. "We can offer concessions, show that we recognize human power. Perhaps they will accept peace." Velric shook his head. "No, they have already crossed the threshold. We cannot admit weakness, but if we fail, the galaxy will see us as powerless." Meanwhile, back on Earth, Noah Carter and Hannah Wright watched the fleet's progress. Every report, every sensor reading, every intercepted communication was analyzed. "They are ready," Noah said. "Every move is calculated. Every ship acts as one. The Empire has no way to escape." Hannah nodded. "They will have to act carefully. If they try anything reckless, humans will respond, but with precision. This is not about destruction. It is about teaching them a lesson they cannot forget." In the capital system, civilians watched in fear and awe as the human fleet approached. Ships that had once been symbols of human weakness now hung in the sky like massive shadows. Children pointed at the lights in the heavens. Families held each other tightly. Some whispered prayers. Others could only stare, realizing that humanity had grown stronger than they ever imagined. Lucas Grant addressed the fleet. "We are here to protect every human life. We are here to remind the Empire that no child, no family, no human is worthless. Let them see our strength, but remember, do not fire unless it is necessary. Restraint is our power." Claire Bennett looked at him. "They will try to provoke us. They always do. Prepare the defenses, but wait for our signal." The Empire sent a small delegation, appearing in the space just ahead of the fleet. Ships that glowed with authority and power approached slowly. They carried diplomats, officials, and military commanders. They wanted to negotiate before anything happened. Lucas watched them carefully. "This is their first mistake," he said. "They think we will be satisfied with words. They do not understand humans. They act for principle, not fear. They will learn soon enough." The Imperial delegation sent a message. "We recognize your fleet. We wish to speak." Let us prevent unnecessary destruction. Lucas responded, "We are here because one of your soldiers killed a child. One of your acts cannot be ignored. Humanity demands accountability." For hours, the two sides spoke through communications. The humans presented evidence, files, videos, eyewitness accounts of Caleb Turner's death and countless other atrocities. They showed how the Empire had treated human colonies unfairly for decades. The Empire tried to argue. They claimed it was a mistake, that they had acted in the interest of security. They offered small reparations, but the humans rejected them. "This is not enough," Lucas said. "A child's life was taken. You cannot erase that with money or words. You must take responsibility. You must ensure this never happens again." Governor Velric and his council realized the humans were not bluffing. They looked at the reports from their fleets. Their warships had no chance. They could not escape. Their superweapons were useless against coordinated human defense. Every system was monitored. Every move anticipated. Finally, after hours of tense communication, the Empire conceded. They agreed to dismantle oppressive security units, provide protections for all human colonies, and publicly acknowledge their crimes. The human fleet would not attack, but the Empire's authority would never be the same. Lucas Grant addressed the fleet over comms. "Stand down, but remain ready. Humanity has spoken. The Empire has listened. This is victory, but also a promise. We protect our own, and we act with resolve when it is necessary." Across the Empire, civilians watched as the humans withdrew slightly, leaving observers behind to ensure compliance. Families whispered thanks. Children smiled. They had seen the power of humans united. They had seen that even a single child's death could awaken the strength of an entire species. On the frontier station, Lily Turner received news of the Empire's concessions. Tears ran down her face. Daniel hugged her. "Caleb, it was because of him," Lily whispered. "He changed everything." Mia, now older and more aware, looked at her mother. "He did. He made them listen." Back on Earth, Noah Carter and Hannah Wright reported to the Council. "The Empire has yielded," Noah said. "Not because of fear of battle alone, but because humans acted with unity, discipline, and principle. This is a turning point for the galaxy." Hannah added, "We have shown them that human life is valuable, that every child matters. The Empire will not forget this." The fleets returned to Earth and human-controlled systems, leaving observers to monitor the Empire. The galaxy had learned a new rule. Humans do not forget their children, and they do not respond halfway. The memorial for Caleb Turner was established on Earth and later on other human colonies. It became a place of remembrance, but also a symbol of human strength. Children learned his story. Families spoke of his courage in death, and the galaxy slowly began to change. Across the Empire, governors and commanders looked at their people differently. Civilians, who had once been powerless, now understood that humans could no longer be ignored. The Empire was not defeated through war. It was reminded of the cost of cruelty. On the lead ship, Lucas Grant stood looking at the stars. "We have done more than win," he said. "We have set a new standard. Humanity will not allow injustice to go unanswered. This is the future." Claire Bennett nodded. "And we will remain ready. We protect, we defend, we act when necessary. Caleb Turner's life has shown us what we must do, and we will honor it every day." The fleet moved slowly through space, engines glowing, a testament to the power of humanity when united by principle and love. Across the stars, humans celebrated quietly, knowing that they had changed the course of history. Even the Empire had learned something it could not unlearn. Humans are not weak. They do not act without reason, but when they do act, their force is overwhelming. They act with justice, with care, and with determination. On Earth, families looked up at the stars. Children played outside, their laughter echoing in the evening. Parents felt safer, knowing that humanity could defend what mattered most. And somewhere, a mother and father on a distant station held each other close, remembering Caleb Turner, the boy whose life sparked a fire across the galaxy. The stars shone brighter that night, and in their light, humanity smiled. They had faced the might of an empire and shown the galaxy that the smallest life mattered as much as the greatest. The human fleet would remain vigilant, ready to act if necessary. But for now, the galaxy had learned its lesson. Humans protect their own. Humans do not forget. And humans never respond halfway. The Empire would never again assume that human lives could be taken without consequence. The stars above the Imperial capital seemed to shine with a promise that the galaxy could not ignore. And across space, the human fleet, 500,000 strong, moved silently back toward their systems, engines glowing, hearts steady, and purpose clear. Caleb Turner's death had not been in vain. It had awakened the true power of humanity. And in that moment, the galaxy began to understand that the children of Earth were worth defending, always. The Galactic Empire took a human child's life. Earth responded with 500,000 dreadnoughts.